Okay, welcome. This is Koji again, Celestial Rhythms. And the Aquarius moon, since earlier this today, I should say, short before noon in Washington DC, the moon came out of its void of course phase here in the late Capricorn degrees and entered Aquarius. Aquarius moon is always a little difficult for the moon because Aquarius is such a different energy than the moon has coming from Cancer. So it's that 150-degree angle of the inconjunct, which pretty much says you're as different as you can be in your energy. It's really making the splits. With one leg you're in a totally different place than with the other. The moon in Aquarius is though an interesting placement as it allows us to have a bit distance to our feelings, emotions, and stand a little away. It gives us the ability to watch, to observe what's going on. And actually the American nation has the moon in Aquarius, so we will have a lunar return for the American nation in 2 days on the 14th, which I will show you maybe in the next one. I don't want to make them too long, these little updates. So anyway, that was earlier today, short before noon, Washington, and what we have here is Astrea rising, which indicates kind of the energy we are dealing with in these next 2 days. As the moon, that's how fast the moon moves through signs, 2.5 days by average. So Astrea is an asteroid, and it's one of the bigger ones, one of the first which had been discovered. Astrea is named after the Greek goddess. They're mainly all goddesses, feminine energies. That's another thing we could get deeper into. I'll leave that for now. But Astrea is the goddess of helping, of assisting, of solving problems. As the story goes, she was the last one to go back up to the Olymp mountain after things had really gone bad on planet Earth, after there was lots of chaos and you name it, sickness and troubles, and all the other gods already long before had left, and Astrea kind of felt very compassionate, stayed there, tried to assist and help. That's kind of the energy we're having here. Someone who's ready to roll back her sleeves. So that's really nice. Then we have the 0-degree Aquarius, 0-degree Taurus, rising in midheaven. I'm getting all mangled up. So anyway, what I want to say, the moon was exactly in T-square to the power axis, which means it's a very loaded time with emotions and very expressive in many ways. All that group here is in the 6th house actually. The 6th house is Virgo energies. The 6th sign resonates with that space. Virgo is healing, is resolving problems, so in a very similar way. So it's a time of sorting things out, of getting things into clear vision and understanding what's truly been going on. Kind of an assessment is done right now. And naturally Mars is here very close to the end of the sign, so Mars is in a critical degree, anaretic also called. It's kind of whenever we approach a sign change, we are getting into a zone of turbulence, of chaos, and there are a whole bunch of different themes which will come up. It's kind of that panic before the door closes. There's only so much time left, and everything gets a bit critical is really one of the best ways. It is a chaotic Mars in that sense, and then Mars will enter Pisces, as I say, short after midnight. That's the chart. And I was expecting some revelations today already. We might have to be patient. It seems there's some big operations underway. We don't know exactly what, but I think we will get much a clearer picture by tomorrow night. I think this chart kind of indicates that, and I'll show you why. Well, first of all, Capricorn rising here, again a strong Capricorn placement. We had the moon in Capricorn yesterday. Now Capricorn is rising, and there is Arrochot here, there's Hilonome. Arrochot is that little body. Those who listen to me know that already. I still quickly say it. The farthest celestial body. We have a close-up understanding of its geology, of its formation. Actually, it was that space probe New Horizons, which was destined to inspect Pluto, which was accomplished in 2015. And 4 years further, the New Horizons space probe was reaching Arrochot, and Arrochot has been named just last November after a native tribe's name for the sky. A man standing under the sky, seeing it all. It's kind of that new quality which has come into human consciousness, because when a planet is discovered, found, that means this energy is coming into our lives now. It's entering, coming up through the surface of the ocean, if you want. So yes, this Arrochot is rising, which means it's something which is a predominant force for that whole month. Mars will be in Pisces. Very interesting. I mean, Mars in Pisces is an interesting placement to start with, as it's a water sign. Mars can be very gentle, but also working from the unseen realm, from the background. So intelligence is an important word here. The whole work of Q and all those many hidden threads which are going on. It will get more secretive in a way and less transparent on one level. However, for those who want to know, it will be all presented on the silver platter. That's kind of what this Arrochot stands for. Hilonome, another really interesting centaur, actually one of the few feminine ones. And Hilonome, she is ready to sacrifice herself. She was very young and beautiful and married with Celeris, that is this other centaur, and Celeris was killed and Hilonome just followed him. She was so much in love and so committed to her husband that she wanted to follow him. So it's that commitment which even will bring sacrifice if necessary, which is very interesting. It shows that energy we see which pulls this whole transformation through, which is at its inception, if you want. Naturally, there's many things again I could say here. Again, this time you see all that agglomeration of energies, Pluto, Jupiter, Pallas, Saturn, then the moon at 6 degrees here, exactly on the equatorial point again. So what happens during that month with Mars in this sign of Pisces will be again very much being felt by the whole planet, the moon being the planet or the energy of emotions, of moods. So whatever goes down in the United States will be felt everywhere. That's what it shows. And again, the moon in Aquarius, while Mars is as of 017 tomorrow early morning, Wednesday, this is again Washington time, the moon in Pisces. Anyway, so furthermore, what is interesting here is this black moon Chiron, and that's the transiting planets which you see here. We had that black moon Chiron theme going on for months now, and it is in a nutshell bringing all which is wrong into the forefront of our consciousness, into the visible area. There's light brought in, it's all illuminated, we see what's been going on, what's wrong. So the third house is the house of communication. It's Mercury's house. Whenever we have such a strong placement here at the cusp, the beginning, the initiation of a house, that means this energy is boosted. Also Uranus and ARIES are in here, so we can really expect, which is not surprising, I guess, to none of you, that there will be lots of disclosure, lots of new information being spilled out into the public for people to learn, to form their opinions, to reconsider what they have been thinking or understanding before, as more and more of these hidden players are unmasked and their twisted agendas being brought into the full light of day. And naturally, with Mercury now in Gemini, that was another one which made me think that something really big was on its way. Yesterday evening around 6 p.m. Mercury entered Gemini. So that was an indication that much more information would be really spilled out into the open, and certainly we have been seeing that. And Mercury will be in Gemini probably for the next 3 weeks, I would say. We will get to that when Mercury comes to its end, and then I will give you another update. So what is furthermore standing out in this moment is Uranus, naturally, so close here to the 4th house cusp. The Sun approaches Sedna in about 4 to 5 days. So expect things to get more compressed, difficult for a while, and deep, profound. There will be some more pressure. I mean, it definitely is a crazy time, and I guess the reason for things to having to get that crazy is that only when it's really obviously totally out of whack, then people are waking up. Then people start adding up the different incongruences, what doesn't match, what all the noise disturbances. It's really like we're now at a place where somebody comes in and throws a bucket of ice cold water on you, so you finally wake up. That's kind of how this whole energy is at the present. It's not nice, but it's necessary. And as Juno, I was making a podcast on Juno, in particular Juno, the planet or asteroid of partnership, of working together, of teamwork, is in that hexagram 18, working on what has been spoiled. It is really a relearning we are going through collectively in working together, working with each other in spite of coming from different angles, different sides, different viewpoints in our minds, and trying to build bridges to include as many as possible, to motivate them to come on board. And even more so as Chiron is opposing Juno here for still quite a while. Then the other really interesting, beautiful energy we having at the present is Venus in Gemini here, together with these beautiful asteroids, Hygeia, all about health and wellness, well-being. This is Vesta, that's our spiritual focus when we see that we are serving a greater good with what we are doing. It is service to others, understanding that we are all together in this boat. Interesting that also Aspolus is here. Aspolus has been strongly showing up in the original Wuhan discovery of the virus. Aspolus has that energy of something difficult and dark, and also is an energy which can see into the future. It's one of the more mysterious centaurs. Then what I further want to quickly show you again is the midpoint chart between that Mars ingress and the American Nations chart, and what we see here, that is now how this Mars in Pisces phase will be experienced by the American nation in a very particular way, how it affects them. And when I say them, I'm here in Canada, so that's why I'm kind of sometimes using including myself, because I think Canada is the 51st state of America. It's not that totally obvious, but we're definitely not that independent as many people might think. So we are totally, what happens down there will come eventually here. That's why I'm so much rooting also for changes down in the United States. So we see here the black moon again, and the black moon in this midpoint chart forms a square to Jupiter. I spoke about that in an earlier podcast too. That's a very powerful aspect, a very interesting combination of energies. Jupiter, the planet of expansion, of success, of great movements, of dynamics. The black moon again, the shadows, all that which we are rather wanting to shove under the carpet and never deal with it. It's that deepest trench in the ocean. The black moon being the spot in the moon's orbit where the moon is farthest away from Earth. what's called in astronomy the apogee. Here in early Cancer. So it's all about doing our homework and bringing out all those skeletons out of the closets and bring them into full light, giving them the full treatment of energy, of attention, of loudness. That's kind of what this chart shows with Jupiter up here. There's lots of hope and promise, but first, yes, we have to face the difficult task to cut through all that darkness and unwind it and take responsibility in that sense. And it's not about blaming, because most are victims too, even of the perpetrators, the people who have done wrong, because they have been under an enormous pressure of blackmail and threats. We only will learn that as we go. I mean, many insiders who have come forward already have told us how that whole system works. It's an extreme pressure from very few at the very top who have constructed that system of oppression and of for people having to go along otherwise. So there's a lot of forgiving which has to be done too. That's what I'm aiming at. And the black moon here at the 7th house cusp definitely speaks also of that it's time to face what's wrong, but also to let go and forgive and see it more as a martial art contest. And I got this beautiful comparison from the 9, that group of disembodied entities Magenta Pixie is transmitting. They said that's what presently plays out on our planet, is that big battle. And it's really between, it's a polarity, and the so-called bad forces are as important as the good forces, because it's the polarity which makes the good forces really wake up and integrate that darkness. It's all about that, to integrate it, to own it. And once we own and integrate it, we become one, and we can move on to a much higher level of consciousness, of awareness, to a higher level of polarity even. So that's kind of a short update of that Mars ingress we have tomorrow, which will be an interesting 4 to 5 weeks. Many things going on without truly fully being visible. Lots of disclosure, and we're edging in an organic way towards enormous changes. When the majority of people is ready, then all these players will finally be arrested and brought to justice. This will be happening within the next few months. Already by July 4, we will have arrived at an enormous milestone. Lots will be going down between now and then. So I'll leave it at that, and thanks again for joining and listening, and till soon.